Hello my dear students, myself Professor Harshad Daingde. I am dealing with the course named as Measurement and Instrumentation. I think you may have gone through the syllabus of this subject and the course overview. Don't worry, we have to see course overview and the syllabus first, and then we will start first chapter. So if you see the course overview, this subject is for second year students in semester 3. The course code is ETL 205. The subject name is Measurement and Instrumentation. If you see the teaching scheme, this subject will be having total 3 lectures per week. So the total credits become 3. There will not be any lab to this subject, so that's why this is only theory subject. And I think you know the evaluation scheme of this subject. If you see this subject, there will be 25 marks SE1 and SE2 exam will be there. And if you see the SEE exam, it will be having 50 marks. If you see the total marks of the subject, it is 100. So this subject carries total 100 marks. Let us see the syllabus of this subject. If you see this subject, there are total 6 chapters or 6 units are there. The first unit is dealing with different types of transducers, its types, its classification and its application. If you see the second chapter or second unit, it is data acquisition system. So in this unit we have to see how the signal is conditioned, how the signal is processed, how the signal is converted in, how the analog signal is converted into digital, or how digital signal is converted into analog signal. So we have to see, in short, we have to see the types of ADCs and DACs. If you see the third chapter, it is measurement systems and measuring instruments. In this we have to see different types of methods, like a direct and indirect method of measurement. Then we have to see different performance characteristics and different types of errors in the system. After that, in chapter number 4, we have to see CROs, different modes of the CROs, its functioning. Chapter number 5 deals with signal generators and analyzer. And if you see unit number 6, it is AC and DC bridges. So different types of bridges we have to see. So if you see the reference books required for this subject, these first 2 books are very important for the subjects. All are important, but if you refer these first 2, then that will be sufficient for this subject. The first most important book for this subject is A.K. Swaney. The author name is A.K. Swaney. The book name is A Course in Electrical and Electronics Measurement and Instrumentation. The publishers are Dhanpat Rai and Sons. If you see the second book, that is again important for this subject, the name is Electronic Instrumentation. The author is H.S. Kalsi and the publishers are Tata McGraw-Hill. Okay, so rather than this, you can use the materials which is available on internet also. N number of books are available in library, but these 2 are most important books for this subject. Okay, others are also important. So let us start with unit number 1, that is transducers. My dear students, we have to understand that why this subject is most important. Because if you see this subject, the name is Measurement and Instrumentation. In this subject, we have to see different types of transducers, sensors which are used in real physical world, because sensors or we can say transducers are the devices which are allowing us to interact with physical systems. And after that, that signal is conditioned, or we can say processed, and which types of instruments we have to use for the measurement. All these topics are covered in this syllabus. So this is very important topic, or we can say subject for us. So that's why the first unit is dealing with transducers only. We will see the definition of the transducer, then types of transducers, then classification of transducers, how the transducers are working, that we have to see. So we will see these points one by one. So what is basically transducer? The simple definition is like this. The transducer is a device which converts physical quantity to be measured into electrical signal. Okay. So if you see the definition, I am repeating again. The simple definition is like this. Transducer is a device which converts physical quantity to be measured into electrical signal. जो भी क्वांटिटी आपको मेजर करना है, वो क्वांटिटी अगर इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल में जो कोई कन्वर्ट करता है, उसे हमें ट्रांसड्यूसर बोलना चाहिए. Okay, so what do you mean by this physical quantity to be measured? This physical quantity can be temperature, speed, pressure, force, or a sound. It can be anything. Okay, but that physical quantity cannot be applied to digital world directly, we can say, or it may be analog world. Suppose if you want to process that physical quantity, it cannot be applied directly. So that's why we need one device which may convert that quantity into electrical signal, and that is nothing but your transducers. You may call that transducer as a sensor, no problem. Okay, so if you see the examples are RTD, thermocouple. These are the examples of temperature transducer. Okay, so if you see the diagram, this is the input, that is the physical quantity. It may be temperature, pressure, heat, flow, it can be anything. That physical quantity is converted into electrical signal by the transducer, and then only that signal can be conditioned. Okay, means what? It can be applied to the display unit, or it can be applied to the controller for the further processing. Okay, so but if you don't use this transducer, then this physical quantity cannot be directly displayed or cannot be processed. Okay, so we have to convert this physical quantity into a electrical signal so that we can process that signal. Okay, so that's why in between this physical world and this electrical world, we have to use one device, that is what? Transducer. Okay, so it is basically measuring device which measures and converts non-electrical variable, which is also called as physical quantity, into electrical variable like a voltage or a current. Okay, so that is nothing but your transducer. So your electrical signal can be voltage, it can be current, it can be digital one. Okay, no problem. It is based upon the classification or a type of a transducer that we are using for our particular application. So let us see classification of a transducers. For classify transducers, we have to select different criteria for that. Means what? There are number of transducers, but we have to classify these transducers based upon, the first point is, it is based upon quantity to be measured. Second one is the principle, transduction principle used, means converting principle used, we can say. Then we can classify the transducer based upon the application area that we are using. Transducers may be classified as active, or it may be passive. It may be analog, or it may be digital. Transducers may be primary transducers. It can be secondary. And the last criteria is transducers and inverse transducers. Okay, so let us see one by one how these transducers are classified. So we will see classification of a transducer based upon transduction principle. So what do you mean by transduction principle? Converting type is nothing but what? Transduction principle. Means what? If you see any physical quantity or input variable, we can say, if it is converted into proportional capacitance, resistance or inductance, based upon this converting type it is named. Means what? Suppose if you are converting any physical quantity into change in capacitance, or if you converting any physical quantity into change in resistance, then as per the output it is named. Okay, so these are named as a capacitive, resistive or inductive transducer respectively. So it can be called as a capacitive transducer, it can be called as a resistive transducer, it can be called as a inductive transducer. Okay, and the examples are capacitive, resistive, displacement transducers. This is only one example I have mentioned here because I am going to cover this example in a displacement transducer or motion transducer. Okay, so just see this, the name only, capacitive, resistive, displacement transducer. So in displacement transducer you will actually get the meaning of this resistive or capacitive. Okay, so this is based upon the converting type that we are using. The second is transducer may be active or it may be passive. So what is active transducer? Basically the transducer which does not require any external source of power for their operation are referred as active transducer. Means what? We have to just apply the physical quantity to that transducer and it will give you the output, electrical output, but it will not require or it may not require any external power source for its operation. Okay, if you see the examples are photovoltaic cell and thermocouple, we can say. So if you see the photovoltaic cell, it is used in light meters, it is also used in solar cells. I think you know solar cells, how it is converting we can say sun rays energy into electrical signal. Okay, it do not require any external power supply for its operation. Thermocouple is also one of the best example of active transducer. It is used to measure temperature, radiation, heat flow. Okay, so just see the name of the transducer and application. When we study the each and every transducer, then you will know how that transducer is working. If you see the passive transducer, it is exactly opposite to active. If you see the active transducer, it will not require any external power supply for its operation. But if you see the passive transducer, this transducer requires external power supply. It may be DC or it may be AC for its operation. Okay, so if you see the passive transducer, resistive, capacitive and inductive transducers are generally referred as passive transducer. Why? Because if you see the resistor, if you see capacitor or an inductor, these are the elements which are actually passive elements. I think in first year you have studied the difference between active and passive components, so I think you know. So if you see the resistor, capacitor and inductor, as I have said earlier, these are the passive components. If you see the transistor, if you see the diode, these are the active components. Okay, I think you know. So what is the use of capacitive transducer? It is used to measure liquid level, noise, thickness, etc. See, only few applications are mentioned here. There may be a large number of applications. Okay, so if you see the resistive transducers, it is used to measure temperature, pressure, displacement. Inductive transducer is also used for pressure, vibration, position or displacement measurement. So this we will see in future. Next is analog and digital transducer. If you see the analog transducer, it is a transducer which produces output in the analog or a continuous form. Okay, you know the difference between analog and digital. So the transducer which produces their output in analog form or form which is continuous with respect to time or a function of a time is referred as analog transducer. So these are the best examples of analog transducers. Strain gauge, we can say, it is used to measure displacement, force and torque. So this strain gauge is very important transducer I have mentioned here, because it can be used as a displacement transducer. It can also use it for force as a force transducers. It can be also used as a torque transducer. Another example I have mentioned here, that is a thermistor. It is used to measure temperature or a flow. Now, next is a digital transducer. The transducer which produces their output in a digital form or a form of pulses is referred as a digital transducer. Okay. So its output is generally digital one. So what is the example of analog output? What is the example of digital output that you have to consider? If you see the analog output, it is generally continuous with respect to time. So I will give one example of analog signal and I will give one example of digital. So if you see the analog signal, what is analog signal? If you see the sine wave can be called as a analog signal because its amplitude is changing with respect to time. Okay, so it is continuous and it is function of a time. It is continuous with respect to time. If you see digital, our binary data, we can say 0101 pattern, which can be called as a pulses, we can say. If pulse is present, it is called as 1. If pulse is not present, we are generally calling it as a 0. So this binary data can be called as a digital signal. Okay. So if you see the example of a digital transducer, that is turbine meter, it is used in flow measurement. The next classification is primary and secondary transducer. So there may be application or there may be a single transducer which may combine primary and secondary transducers. Okay, so the transducer which sense the one physical quantity and convert that into another physical quantity, we can say, whose output forms the input of another transducer is called as a primary transducer. Again, I am repeating, there are certain applications or there are number of transducers which requires primary as well as secondary transducer. Means that is these primary and secondary transducers are part of a single transducer. But which is primary transducer and which is secondary transducer, that we have to see. The transducer which sense the one physical quantity, suppose, and if it is converting into a mechanical movement, then that is called as that may be called as a primary transducers. And again, that mechanical quantity should be applied to the another transducer so that it can be converted into electrical signal. That transducer is called as a secondary transducer. Again, I am repeating. Suppose there is one physical quantity. That physical quantity is suppose converted into some mechanical movement by one device, not directly to electrical signal, then that is called as a primary transducer. But the function is not over here. Again, we have to convert that mechanical quantity into electrical signal. So that's why we will require another device that is called as a secondary transducer. So in single transducer, primary work and secondary work is covered. So that's why this separation is done here. Okay, so primary, in short, we can say the primary transducer is not converting physical quantity directly into electrical signal, but in another form. And the secondary transducer is taking the output from a primary transducer and converting into electrical signal. So secondary transducer is directly converting the output of a primary into electrical signal. I think you got this. For example, Bourdon tube. So while studying this Bourdon tube, I will explain what do you mean by primary transducer and secondary transducer. Don't worry. So this Bourdon tube is used for pressure measurement. So as I discussed earlier, the secondary transducer is a device which converts the output of a first transducer. This first transducer is nothing but a primary transducer into electrical output. The best example of this secondary transducer is LVDT, which is used to measure displacement, force, pressure, or position. So in this example, we can say this is a Bourdon tube which is converting the physical quantity into some mechanical movement. So this is primary transducer, and this output of this Bourdon tube is applied to LVDT, which is converting output of a Bourdon tube into a direct electrical signal. So in this case, or in this application, we can say this is the Bourdon tube. This is working as a primary transducer, and this LVDT is working as a secondary transducer. This combinedly we can say this is only one transducer, pressure transducer we can say, for a pressure application. Okay, but this LVDT can be used for different applications also that we have seen earlier. Next and the last classification is transducers and inverse transducers. So this is very simple. A device which converts physical quantity into electrical signal is transducers, that we have seen already. And the inverse transducer is exactly opposite to transducer. Means what? If the transducer is converting electrical signal into physical signal, then that transducer is called as inverse transducer. Okay. So transducer is thermocouple. The example is thermocouple. Only one example is mentioned here. So this we have seen. We have to see what is inverse transducer. A measuring device which measures and converts electrical variable or electrical signal into non-electrical variable or physical signal, we can say, or physical quantity. That is inverse transducer. So if you see the piezoelectric crystal, that is the best example of inverse transducer. So how this piezoelectric crystal works, that we have to see afterwards. So what is use of this piezoelectric crystal? It is used to measure pressure, vibration and acceleration. So this is all about the classification of transducers. Okay, so now we have to see criteria for selection of a transducer or its characteristics, we can say. अभी जो भी ट्रांसड्यूसर हमें सिलेक्ट करना है, वो सिलेक्ट करने के लिए कौन कौन से पैरामीटर हमको चेक करने चाहिए? दैट इज नथिंग बट व्हाट? द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स और क्राइटेरिया फॉर सिलेक्शन ऑफ अ ट्रांसड्यूसर. So generally the transducers are selected based upon the environmental conditions. The most important thing is physical quantity that we have to see first, that is to be converting. Then we have to see some different environmental conditions. We have to consider cost, we have to consider stability, we have to see linearity, we have to see its size. Okay, so there are n number of parameters that we have to see. Okay, so I will just read one by one these parameters, and some of these parameters we have to see. So the first parameter is operating principle. We have to see operating principle of the transducer, how it is working or how it is converting. Then we have to see the range of the transducer. We have to consider accuracy, its sensitivity. After that, we have to see the stability, reliability of that transducer. We have to see its uses, its ruggedness, its response. We have to see again loading effect. We have to check electrical parameters. We have to consider noise also. Different environmental compatibility also we have to consider. We have to consider linearity. We have to consider size of the transducer and its repeatability we have to consider. Okay, so these are the n number of parameters or characteristics which are generally considered for the selection of transducers. So we have to see few of them. The first one is operating principle. So the transducer are selected based on their operating principle. Means operating principle means what? How that transducer is converting the physical quantity into electrical signal. Means it may be resistive, it may be capacitive, it may be inductive, piezoelectric, optoelectronic principle. Okay, so we will see what is this resistive principle, capacitive principle afterwards. But just keep in mind that is operating principle is important parameter while we have to consider while selection of transducers. Second is operating range. This factor is considered so that the transducer should be able to function within the specified range with a good resolution. हमें ऑपरेटिंग रेंज भी कंसिडर करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि जो भी एनवायरमेंटल पैरामीटर है उसका टेम्परेचर रेंज होगा, उसका वोल्टेज रेंज होगा, या फिर उसका करंट का रेंज होगा. उस करंट के रेंज या वोल्टेज के रेंज और या टेम्परेचर के रेंज को हमें कंसिडर करना चाहिए. सो एवरी ट्रांसड्यूसर शुड बी प्रोवाइडेड विद सम रेटिंग्स with which it can operate. Okay, so this operating range is again important parameter. Yes, the next is accuracy of a transducer. What do you mean by accuracy? Accuracy is nothing but closeness to the actual output produced by the transducer. Okay, so again it is converting physical quantity into electrical signal. It must be proportional, but at the same time it must be accurate also. Okay, so accuracy is, I think accuracy must be the most important parameter while selecting a transducer for any application. The next is sensitivity that we have to consider. Every transducer should be sufficiently sensitive to produce some output that can be sufficient and detectable. Means what? It must be sensitive to any physical change. Means if there is a physical change, that must be reflected very fast at the output. That is sensitivity. Stability and reliability is next point. So what do you mean by stability? Stability means transducer should provide stable operation under certain physical or environmental conditions. Means what? The transducer should not be affected, or transducer's output should not be affected by temperature, vibrations and other environmental conditions or variations, we can say. The transducer should have high degree of stability during its function and also storage life. It should also have high degree of reliability. Okay, so stability and reliability are closely related to each other, we can say. If there is a stability, then only reliability will be there. So therefore the transducer that we are using, it must produce stable output under different environmental conditions like a temperature, vibrations or other parameters, we can say. The next is low noise signals. See, if you are using a transducer, it must be sensitive, we can say, because any change in input physical quantity, that must be reflected at the output. But at the same time, it must be insensitive to unwanted signals. So what do you mean by unwanted signal? So the above parameters that we have discussed earlier, that is the temperature, vibration, these are unwanted signal to the input of the transducers. So this must be what? Reduced or ignored, we can say. So that's why all these disturbances are called as a noise. So noise is nothing but unwanted signal or disturbance, we can say. So जो भी ट्रांसड्यूसर हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं उसे सिर्फ फिजिकल क्वांटिटी ही मेजर करना है, बाकी के जो डिस्टर्बेंसेस होंगे सिस्टम में उसको एटेन्यूएट करना है या ब्लॉक करना है. ओके, सो एबिलिटी टू बी इनसेंसिटिव टू अनवांटेड सिग्नल, or we can say ability to give the output to wanted signal only, that is called as a best transducer, we can say. Here the ability to be sensitive to the desired signal is mentioned. Desired means what? The parameter that we have to measure. Okay, so the transducer must block or it must reduce the unwanted signal. That is very important as far as our system is concerned. Okay, so आज के लिए बस इतना ही. We will see remaining parameters in a next lecture. Thank you very much.